This is Princess Auto See at Work, where you get to see the fabulous products that we have in store live in action. And today, as with every month, we have another great product to showcase. And today's all about fruit processing.
That's right.
So what is this?
Well, this is
Let's start off really easy.
This is simple. Well, this is a meat grinder. So this is a 0.4 horsepower, just about a half horsepower meat grinder, and many attachments to go along with it. Easy to clean, stainless steel. We're going to be making some summer sausage patties and summer sausage.
I'm very hungry, so that is good. So food processing is something, are you seeing it more at a store level, more and more people getting involved in it?
Yep, we've got a larger line come in the last few years, and it's become more popular, and it's very popular items. People are doing wild game, they're making just their own mixes at home, so yeah.
How long have we been doing it at Princess Auto? I know you say we've expanded our line, but we've always had a few staples.
We've always had grinders, we've always had slicers, scales, packing equipment, vacuum bags, that kind of thing. We've had that for 15 years or more.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, if you're tuning in just now, you're watching See at Work. I'm Dan. This is Derek. You're going to see a fabulous Princess Auto product live in action today. As always, we encourage you to send in questions, any comments. I'll be monitoring live right here. And we'll actually be giving one of these away today. Did you know that?
We did, yeah. We're going to give one of these away.
We're going to give one of these away. Not this one.
Brand new.
But a brand new one. So ask a question and you could be taking home your very own meat grinder today.
That's right.
That's very exciting. Are you going to take this one home with you after we're done?
No.
No, you won't. Okay, well that's great. You probably already have one at home. Let's get started. I want to see this thing work.
Sure.
Where do we begin?
Well, I mean, the first thing we can do, just to make it a little bit easier, we've got a foot pedal, so foot control to turn it off and on.
Nice.
So you can keep your hands clean. If you've got to do some attachments with the sausage casings and whatnot, it just keeps your hands free from having to go to the switch all the time. Yeah. So
and also, I mean, just to jump in there, it's also kind of a safety thing too, right? It's kind of nice to...
Yep, keep your hands free. You don't have to have, something happen when you're grinding and paying attention. We're just going to go in line with this into an extension cord. Put the pedal down on the ground.
If you guys can see this, it's very exciting. He's just plugging something in.
Plugging something and make sure the machine's off, and then we can activate with the foot pedal.
There we go.
Simple as that.
Now we're missing something. We're missing some meat.
We are missing some meat. True. All right, so we're going to take some beef.
What do we got?
Cut that up. We've got some rib roast.
Here we go. Do I get to do the honors here?
You do get to do the honors.
Oh, no pressure at all. This is some nice meat from Miller's Meats here in Winnipeg. Should I wear a glove right now?
You could, yeah.
You know, I think I might just because I'm about to touch my phone after this.
That's
so
right. Yeah, and we're going to be mixing this with some pork. We have some pork already ground up, and just to give it a little bit more flavor, it doesn't really dry out that much with the pork in it, and we're going to be seasoning it after we get everything cut up and ground. Yep. And we're going to grind everything twice. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a coarse plate that's in here. It's an 8mm plate. That's the diameter of the holes inside that plate. And we're going to go and move to a 4mm plate afterwards.
Okay. We're going to just put this over here. And can you show the plate? Let's see the plate.
We've got a 4mm plate.
While I get this ready to go. That's a nice looking plate there.
Yep.
I'm noticing, you know, this meat is very cold. Is that?
It is very cold. Yeah.
Is that what it should be?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you don't want your meat refrigerated. Yeah, no, of course.
Yep.
No, it's going to be cold.
Yep.
Not frozen. Nice temperature.
That's right. Easy to cut. If it's a thinner cut of meat and you want to cut it up to do some fine grinding, you could get it and cut it in slivers when it's just starting to thaw. Might be a little bit easier.
I can't wait for people to comment on how bad I am at cutting, so looking forward to seeing those comments, everybody.
Yeah.
How do we get going here?
You're going to cut in strips. So the auger itself has a wider section of blade at the inside of the machine, right on top of the hopper. I'm going to pull the hopper up.
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
And there's the hole right in the middle there. It goes the down tube that goes into the auger drive. That actually will help, long strips will help guide the meat into the auger, and not cubes and whatnot would tend to bunch up and get jammed in there. So it's going to be a little easier on the machine.
So is this the right way? Probably not.
Yep, cut it into a flat piece like that and then cut it.
And then cut again.
Yep.
Oh, that's really good for...
Cut lengthways along that.
Like that?
Nope, the other way.
The other way.
Yep.
Long strips.
Long strips, yep.
So at the store, like you said before, a lot of people with game, a lot of hunters.
Yep.
Is there just kind of the normal folks who are like, hey, I just want to make my own burgers?
Yeah, I've talked to a few customers. They've come in.
Now where do these go?
Just drop it in.
Yep,
drop them in. we'll get to grinding after you get some more cut. A lot of the customers that are coming in, it's kind of a mix. So they're doing, we're going for deer, moose, elk, whatever's in the region. The few guys that I've spoken to that don't do any hunting, they're just going to the store and they're buying this kind of stuff. They're making their own sausages, patties, whatnot, so they can season it to the way they like it. We have a range of mixes and seasonings at the store. All the stores carry them. Casings for sausages, patty mix, jerky mix, and we'll get into some of the jerky attachments a little bit later on.
Yeah, everyone loves beef jerky.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not that they don't like hamburgers, but. So we probably should have cut this before. Like, how long is this going to take to cut?
It'll take a while. We don't have to cut all of it. We'll cut a bunch because we're going to make probably a couple patties, and we're going to try and get one summer sausage filled up there.
Is there a better kind of meat, like if you're making burgers, what do you want to use?
Burgers, I mean, kind of a rule of thumb for burgers, if you're going to be mixing them yourself, is try to get a 20 to 25% fat mix in it. Ground chuck, if you can get a chuck roast cut at the butcher shop, that's ideal. But everybody's got their own taste. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be something that's really specialized. I mean, if you've got a roast and you want to give it a shot, just keep in mind that, you know, your fat content in the roast is going to be important.
Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of people who like to just experiment with just random mixes.
Absolutely, yep. And you can do, you could do turkey sausage, you can do any type of meat that you can get. Poultry's fine.
Okay.
Yep.
How much more?
You keep cutting and I'll start grinding.
Okay, this is very exciting.
Here. So we've got a meat lug here. We've got two different sizes at the store. This is a 5-inch. We've also got a 7-inch. That's just a little bit taller. It'll hold more product. And we have lids available for them. Freezer safe, food safe. Very popular items. So I'm going to start grinding these guys.
All right, just a reminder, you're watching See It Work. We're live and you're about to see a meat grinder work.
Right. So we've got the course plate in. We're going to start with this. We'll get it running. Drop everything down. And again, we're going to grind a coarse grind to start and a finer grind, especially for the sausage towards the end.
So what's the name of the instrument you're holding in your hand right now?
This is called a stomper, and it's got a level here that will not allow it to go down into the auger, but if you're having a problem with the meat processing through the auger, you can give it a bit of an assistance there.
So the size of this meat grinder,
right?
How does it rank compared to kind of something you'd see in a more commercial setting?
Well, it's one of the larger ones that we carry. There are larger ones, obviously, for more commercial applications, but if you're really serious about you do a lot of game, a lot of processing, big family. A lot of people are, they'll do a side of a deer or something like that and process it into jerky and different types of ground applications.
Yeah.
They're going to need something that's a little bit bigger scale. We've got a kind of a lower end ones, smaller ones, less expensive, but they don't grind as efficiently. If it's just small projects you're working on at home, then by all means you can use something smaller. But as you gain confidence and do more product at your perfect.
So you're finding this pretty easy using two hands, eh? Like you're so fast. That foot pedal is really helping.
Sorry.
Keep the momentum going. It's not helping me.
It's really not fair. We should have sharpened the knife for you. I apologize.
You know what? That's okay. That's all right. This is actually the knife that I made forging a few episodes ago.
Is it? Really?
Yeah.
That's very professional.
Spent some extra time in there.
Yeah.
No, but I really, that foot pedal, if you're going to invest in one of these, like, why not just invest in the foot pedal at the same time?
I don't have to touch any of the off-on switch. It does have a cover on the off-on switch, but I mean, it's nice not to have to go and sanitize that. Keep everything to the stainless steel if you can, and then it's just easier for cleanup.
Yeah. My cuts are getting very poor.
That's okay. The grinder's going to take care of it.
Well, I wish we had a grinder in other parts of life. We'll just take care of it. It's fine.
It's true. Yeah,
it's going to make it all, everything's going to be fine.
Yep.
All right, well, at this point in time, I know you're cutting up, and by cutting up, I mean grinding.
Right.
Can we see, let's see.
Yeah, here, I'll pull this up.
Let's see what we got in there. Nice.
Yep. And it's pretty coarse, but again, we're going to run it through, do a smaller cut, and then we're also, after that, we're going to add in the pork, mix it together, and then we're going to take it and season it.
Could you run it through more than twice if you really wanted to go?
You certainly could.
Is that how does that affect the taste?
Nothing at all.
No.
It's just going to be a finer texture for You know, in some cases, some people prefer a coarse cut in a sausage, for instance. For patties and those kind of things, I would suggest maybe something a little finer.
See, in my mind, I would think the finer you grind it, the better it tastes, but obviously that makes absolutely no sense at all.
Everybody has preference.
Yeah, there you go. Done.
Done.
What do I win? Grinder.
Win a grinder.
Perfect. Yes. It's off the table. Just kidding. It's not. Right. Ask some questions. We're going to take a look and see what's going on. These gloves are done. That's great. Here we go. Oh, we got a lot of questions coming in.
Do that. I'll get this back in.
All right. So, Kevin in Kipling Station, Saskatchewan wants to know, what is the horsepower of the grinder? I believe we said it's half a horse.
It's a 0.4, so it's just under half horsepower.
0.4.
Yep.
Josh in Prince Albert, Sask wants to know, how is it with meat with a lot of sinew?
Well, this had quite a bit of fat at the end of it, and it chewed it right up. So that's shouldn't be a problem. And again, you can grind a finer plate, and that'll help with the sinew.
Okay. Ben from YouTube. I don't know where YouTube is, but it sounds like a great place to live. What is the duty cycle on the machine?
Duty cycle on the machine? I don't know that, honestly. I'd have to double check because
we'll
they do vary machine to machine.
Okay. Mark and Missy, do you recommend that the meat be thawed? I believe the answer to that is yes. You don't want any frozen meat going
Ideally,
through there, as it's nice and cold.
To cut it, if you want to get some thin slices to make it a little bit more, you know, if it's a tougher cut of meat, to make it a little bit more manageable for a smaller grinder, you could do that to make it easier to cut. But it all depends on, you know, if your knives are sharp and it's thawed 100%, it'll slice right through. So
okay, and we have one. Let's do a couple more questions here. We got enough. How much pressure does it take to push the? How much pressure does it take to press the power pedal? And when it's pushed, is it variable speed or just on and off?
It's on off, but it's a very light touch, so it's very easy to control. And right now, I would put it like a sewing machine pedal. It's very light.
Yeah, it is very light. And another question, and we're actually going to answer this question later on. Daryl has asked, how easy is it to clean, and can you put it in the dishwasher?
Very easy to clean. The stainless steel components you could put in the dishwasher, but realistically, very warm as you can, or hot as you can get your hand into, and mild dish detergent was really all you need. And that way you can go through, you can find out if there's a greasy feeling after that. You can put some baking soda in some warm water with some more soap, give it another rinse, and let it air dry, and it should be fine.
And I don't know if it's true or not, I think I read this, that you should put some food oil on
there's a few different things you can do. There's a silicone spray. It's a food grade silicone that's available. You can use a food grade mineral oil as well. It's just after everything's cleaned up to get everything lubricated. There's different schools of thought on that. What I've always been told and leaned towards would be to, if it's an O-ring, lubricate the O-ring, but all of the other equipment, don't lubricate that necessarily. After it's clean, you can wrap it up in plastic, put it away in the box if you have the box still, and then keep it for the next time, and then you could lubricate it just before, just to make sure everything's nice and fluid.
Yeah, that's
so I'm going to regrind this again.
Okay.
And
I'm going to put on new gloves because I think we're going to mix some pork in shortly.
Yeah, we're going to mix the pork in. We're going to get a meat mixing tool up here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you just tuning in, don't forget you are watching Princess Auto See at Work. My name's Dan. This is Derek. Today, we're looking at a meat grinder.
Yeah. So this is where the stopper kind of comes in handy. When we had the strips cut, it wasn't too bad, but now that we're getting down to the pre-ground, it's working a little harder to kind of feed into the auger system.
So we have not changed the plate yet, correct?
We have not changed the plate.
Okay.
We're going to switch to the smaller diameter plate when we get to mixing in the pork.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, is there I feel like we're doing log splitting here and I should move some of this away.
If you certainly can.
Okay.
You can pull some of that down so it doesn't topple out.
These are fresh gloves, by the way. And look, take a look, it's getting really a lot finer now.
Yeah, a lot finer.
And this is only part 2 of 3, so.
Yeah, there's a little bit, it's a process. So I mean,
hence the name food processing.
Food processing. So if you're going into, doing something that, especially on the sausage end, if it wasn't, wasn't as important for a leaner, smaller cut.
A couple more questions here. Stephen wants to know, can you grind small bones with the meat?
If there was a small piece of bone or something, cartilage, I'd try to get that out first, just so somebody doesn't have a problem with it after they take a big bite, chip a tooth.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Don't want that. All right, so that's ground through. So we're gonna, I'll switch to the smaller plate now.
Sure.
So that's quite simple. This. Yep. We'll just wipe away the excess. We'll give this a spin.
So this comes with how many plates?
This machine comes with 2 plates. It comes with an 8 and a 4. And that's the diameter of the plate. So I'll clean some of that out and I'll hold that up.
There we go.
So that's the 4. Now that's the 8, sorry. This is the 4. So you can see the difference in coarse and then fine. So I'll put that to the side. And it does have a keyway on the bottom of the plate. And you can see the keyway up on the top. That actually faces down to the 6 o'clock position. Locks into place here. My hands are a little slippery.
It just locks in just like that.
Just like that.
There it is.
Like a glove. Then we put the collar back on, the retaining ring.
And we do it again.
And we do it again. All right. Do we have any more questions?
We've got a flood of questions coming in. Josh and PA would like to see the other attachments in use if we can. We'll get to that,
Yeah,
Josh.
we're going to get to that
Just
with the
hold
sausage
on.
stuffing.
Food processing.
And the
takes some
patties.
time.
We do have a patty making attachment that's kind of neat that goes onto the grinder.
Sorry if I came off threatening there, Josh. Just, it's very stressful here in the kitchen with Derek.
Yeah, no pressure. We're here for
He says no pressure, but he doesn't mean it. He runs a tight ship in here.
So you can see that's kind of what you're used to seeing when you get ground beef at the store, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that looks, that's looking a little more like what you're used to seeing.
Yep.
Oh, we're going to slide some of this in. There we go.
Yep. It's a lot finer.
So could you go finer than 8? Like how far do these attachments go?
The 4 is the finest plate that we've got.
The lower,
yeah. I'm not sure what we've got that we stock that's finer, but there might be for some applications to get something that's very, 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 very fine mix. But this is ideal for what we're after.
If you're just tuning in right now, I'm Dan, this is Derek. You're watching See It Work, where we show you some of the fantastic products that Princess Auto has in store. And today we're looking at a meat grinder. And this actual meat grinder, you can win this today. Not this one, but we'll give you a new one. All you have to do is ask a question, leave a comment, and you'll be entered to win. We're going to give it away at the end of the show when we're done making our patties and our sausages. We got a loaded show today. As we keep going on here, I'll keep a look back on my phone. We got a couple more questions. Oh, this is a good one. Mark and Missy wants to know, would you recommend using it for things other than meat, such as nuts or veggies?
I suppose you could, yeah. It's the mix. If you're looking for something that is, it's going to be ground, right? It's going to be not so much chopped or diced. It's going to be ground up. So if you're looking to, introduce that into some kind of a recipe that you're doing, by all means.
I did read in some of our product knowledge materials that you can, I think, grind almonds and stuff to get towards more of, if you wanted to do a kind of a butter, an almond butter, or that kind of stuff. I don't know how fine you would have to grind that up.
Of course, with a nut like that, right, it's going to have some oil in it, so and keep it a little bit smoother. But at that point, you might have to mix it to get it to peanut butter consistency or an almond butter consistency. We are almost done the fine grind.
So how many? That was, I think, 7 pounds of meat that we just.
That was 7 pounds of rib roast. Yep. Okay.
So how many burgers are we going to pump out with this thing?
I'll probably make about maybe 4 or 6 patties, and we should have enough left over to fill 1 sausage casing, or almost full. Okay, so that's slowing down a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the ground pork.
Okay.
We're going to open that up. Please, thank you. And we're going to mix that. We're going to put that through the finer cut because it's already been ground once. And then we're going to attach our meat mixer. We're going to mix the pork and the beef together
this has
and
already
spice
been ground. I'm just throwing this in.
Throw it in the top, right at the top.
There we go.
Excellent. All right. Okay, this will move through pretty quick.
So we're mixing 2 meats together.
Yep.
To get some.
Yep. You could put, you could do veal. Anything you can think of. The world is your oyster.
So exciting.
It is exciting.
Yeah. What's your go-to?
I'd say pork and beef, probably. Yeah, I've done veal as well, but.
What would be something that'd be really difficult? Have you done anything where you're like, that was a little much? Or?
Not that I can think of. I haven't done a lot of it. I've kind of dipped my toe into it a little bit, but we're almost done.
Yeah, I wonder how something like elk would be Or even if you want to do that, probably
I guess
not.
it would also depend on the cut,
Yeah.
right? It's like a cow. They're going to be kind of a finer or a less tough cut,
Yeah.
right, in some parts of the animal.
Brian wants to know if we sell sausage skins. He has trouble finding casing for a small batch of sausages.
We do sell,
Brian,
we do sell some casings. You can check that all the assortment out online.
And we'll go through the assortment at the end of the show as well to show you what we have in stock. Okay.
That's right.
Here we go.
Yep.
This is a nice
Yeah, it's a nice mix.
lug of meat here.
Yeah, so there's a knife. I'll show you when we take the plate out and we're going to hook up the meat mixer. There's a knife in behind the plate.
When that sound, when we stop that sound, it's just dead quiet. It's kind of creepy.
It's a little creepy.
We got to keep this thing going.
Almost Halloween.
This isn't the Halloween episode,
This
okay?
is
That's
not
a
the Halloween
special
episode.
episode.
That
We're
is
not,
true.
it's not Halloween yet.
That's right. So we'll pull this guy out a little bit, pull the auger out.
Okay.
And in behind the plate, it rides flush against the plate. There's the knife. Very sharp, can be sharpened. You know, if you find that overuse, it's dulling a bit, you can sharpen that. And it's important, so I can tell, you know, because this is the front, obviously, where the meat was coming out. This is the side where you're going to have some swirl marks from that knife. It's important to reuse the knife face and the swirl face against each other. So have them at the same position all the time. So we're just going to take the last little bit out here.
Okay.
Drop it down. We'll need the auger left in there because when we go to the meat mixer is actually going to be driven off of this machine. And we've got that just down below.
So I'll move this out of the way.
Yeah.
Once again, if you are just tuning in, you are watching See It Work, the show where you get to see all of the fantastic products that Princess Auto has in action. Today we're doing the meat grinder.
Right.
I'm Dan, this is Derek. Leave a comment for your chance to win one of these.
It's heavy.
And by these, I mean the meat grinder, not what I'm pulling out here. Here we go. All right.
Yeah.
So what is this?
So this is a meat mixer. Now this can be used manually or it can be driven off of the grinder. So we're going to be using it off the grinder today to show how easy it is to kind of set up. And again, if you're doing a large volume, like this isn't much when you're doing a full animal, you need to have, you know, something to assist in the mixing, especially when you're mixing two together or doing the spice mix for your seasoning. Let's see. We're just going to
That is one of the benefits of this unit is that you can drive so much off of it.
Yeah. The nice thing is if you run manual, if you're doing really, really small batches, this can be left together and you could run, you know, a whole elk, a whole cow, whatever you're doing for, and you're going to process, even if you're just going to ground the meat and leave it in the freezer and then do something with it after, you can do that. If you want to prep it first, easy, right?
Yep.
So we're going to slide this off the top. Okay, move that over here.
This thing's huge.
It's big.
I'll just be here for the rest of the show. Don't worry about me.
That should be just.
So
twist.
Twist which way? That way. I'll let you handle it. I know we got the leveling feet. We did level this up before the show.
There is a keyway on the top that it has to lock into. I'm going to lift it up a little bit. Our tables aren't exactly level here. Let's see if I can get this on for you. Can you lift that back in just a little bit? Thank you. See if I can just going to turn the pedal a little bit, see if we can line the gear up a bit. There we go. Lift up a little bit and we'll push it in. Push to me. There we go.
There we go.
We'll tighten it down. And it's a clockwise mix. There's an indicator on the side of the unit, but it's going to turn the same way that the grinder's turning. So what we're going to do now is we've got a seasoning pack here for summer sausage.
Yeah, what do we got?
Yep. For summer sausage. So they take the pack out.
Is this it?
That is it.
There we go.
Yep. So this will do, I believe, let's see, 20 pounds of meat. So we're only working with about
Let's use the whole thing.
10. Yeah, it's going to be a bit strong. So we're going to cut that in half.
Yeah.
And you can put, you know, your salt, your pepper, anything else that you want to do in there. And I'm going to pour this in. We'll get everything in. It's pretty mixed already, but this is going to have everything just nice and consistent for us.
Take a look if we have any more questions here as you get ready to add the seasoning. Sherman, would the motor get hot if you did half a deer in hamburger?
I mean, it might warm up, but it's not moving that fast. You know, again, if the meat's pretty, you know, thawed, it's not going to be an issue, I don't think. I don't know if you'd be doing a half a deer at one full sitting. You know, if you had a few minutes to rest in between, it's going to give it ample time to cool down. So.
You want to take a look in there?
Take a peek in there.
There we go.
So I'm going to fire everything up again here with the foot pedal, and we'll get everything turning. Dan, if you would open that seasoning pouch up for us.
Thought you'd never ask.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And it is tilting, so we can lock the position to tilt the meat back into the lug after.
Okay, what is, this is a...
That's going to be curing.
Sausage cure, yeah. So just dump half in?
About half of that, yeah. We'll let it run for a few minutes. We can go over some more questions and just to make sure it's mixed properly.
I feel like that's about half.
I'd say that's about right, yep.
What a guess that was.
A little bit of the cure, very accurate.
So what's the cure? The cure is just salt? Is that basically just salt?
Yeah, it's a salt mix.
And you need to put that in?
Yeah, sausage specifically, because we're making the patties as well.
Yeah.
You're making a sausage just in a patty form, so we're going to use that as well.
A couple more questions. Wayne wants to know, is it a standard 110 volt receptacle or 220 volt?
It's a standard 110.
Standard 110, Wayne?
Standard household wall.
Should get one of these right away. Peter, can Canada goose be ground?
Absolutely.
Yep.
You got to pluck it first.
Yes, please make sure you pluck it first.
Yep.
Please make sure. So what the seasoning we've used today is our country style summer sausage. You want to take a look at, we can show that off as Derek gets the cure in there.
Okay. Mix a little bit more.
This we do carry in store. Does this grinder, this is Mark, sorry, lots of questions. Does this grinder have a forward and reverse feature if it seems jammed up?
No.
That's the seasoning right
there.
No,
what you'd be doing is you'd be stopping, you'd be taking it apart. The auger itself pulls out quite easily. It's driven off of a large spline gear, so it pulls apart easily if there seems to be a jam. I think you'd really have to work to get this to jam though. Yeah. It's pretty strong.
Okay. Wayne wants to know, did we know the gear reduction internally, i.e. 20 to 1, 40 to 1?
Off the top of my head, I do not.
We'll see if we can answer that for you. Josh wants to know, how long can it run before it gets hot?
That would be more to the duty cycle end of it, so that we'd have to kind of verify. And it all depends, right? If you're doing something that is, you know, with breaks in between versus running straight through, I mean, that would be, you know, you'd be more on a kind of a large scale production. So.
And someone had said they want to see inside the mixer again. I don't know if we can.
Inside the mixer, can we do that?
If we can do that again while we're mixing it
up.
up.
I can tilt that, actually. I'll pull this lock out.
Oh yeah, there we go. You want to see inside, this thing's kind of get mixed up.
Yeah. So it's nice and mixed, and it's very moist. If it seems that the meat you're using is a little bit dry, you can add a little bit of water when you're spicing.
Mm-hmm. By the way, if you're just tuning in, you're watching See It Work. I'm Dan, this is Derek, where you get to, this show is where you get to see all the fantastic products that Prince Auto has to offer in action. You get to see them work. Today, you are seeing a meat grinder work. Mm-hmm. And what is this? What is this?
The meat mixer.
The meat mixer work.
Meat mixer.
And you're about to see a hamburger patty machine work.
That's right, hamburger patty press, and we're going to do sausage stuffing as well. So what I can do to make it easier to get all the meat out is I can pull this collar out on the side. It'll actually take the mixing paddle out, take off all that good stuff.
Yep.
I'm going to put it back in the end of the lug here.
So do we, like, in terms of safety-wise, I know you're not going to step on the pedal when you pull that out, but should you unplug it when you pull that out?
Unplug it. You can knock the switch off, unplug it. It's just, you know, it's one of those things where you'd be, keep it away from, you know, if you're standing, say, at the end of the table and you're doing your mixing and you're going to be going over there and, you know, putting your hands into it. Let's see here. I'm going to drop it down a little bit. Okay. I'm going to pull it out the back.
I'm going through so many gloves here. We'll get some more.
Let's see. And we'll get that in. We'll put the.
So while you're doing that, do you want me to get
the
burger press?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, grab the burger press.
Sure, we'll grab the burger press. Now this thing is pretty cool. Not that this all isn't cool, but this is shows you where I am in the process. I just want to make burgers.
I don't recall seeing that before this season. I don't know if we had it last year, but it's super fast.
Like I'm worried we're not going to be able to keep up with this thing.
We'll be eating well,
but we'll try
in short order.
So how are we going to clean this out? This will clean
that. We're going to put aside. We're going to clean that out when we clean all the other equipment.
Okay.
So I'll pull that back up.
I'll move this out of the way.
Place.
You do need a lot of space when you're doing this, as I've kind of discovered. I had no idea that you needed this much room.
And we do have our stainless steel tables, so they're food grade stainless, which is important. You know, if we're, you know, kind of keeping everything clean and easy to clean.
Yeah.
Wood is porous, of course, unless there's some kind of a sealed top on it or something like that. It's probably a good idea to try and stick with stainless steel if you can.
And this is actually 2 of the tables that we carry in store just put together.
Yeah, and we have a longer version that we carry as well. Give it just a little bit of a tug. We go back and forth. It's a very close fit, and the nice thing about that is you don't want anything squeezing out when you're doing your grinding, right? So let's see here. Put that down there.
Okay, next attachment to the transformer here.
There is a keyway, just as the meat grinder or the meat mixer has. There's a keyway on the top. So that keyway is going to index itself on the top of the grinder here. And then as far as it goes down in, we're going to lock the handle on the side. Okay, we're going to put the hopper back on the top.
Yeah,
Okay.
a few people are asking right now just how easy is it to clean, and we will get to that. We want to make sure we show you the full range of assortment and accessories that you can use with them. We'll show you how to clean it kind of at the end here.
So the collar, we're going to use this
So, yeah, what
collar,
do we need
so
for
we're going to
this
have to take
attachment?
this apart. Just on the bottom here, there's a thumb screw. Very quick and easy to take apart for cleaning and assembly. We're going to put that in here, and we're going to lock that in on the top.
I think we need to open a burger joint after this.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
We've got nothing else to do.
Nothing else to do. No, not at all. So I'm going to make sure, because there is a slot on the bottom that's going to index itself in there as well, I'm going to keep that down to the bottom.
Okay.
So that way we can see through the plexiglass plate on the top how the burger patty is forming up there. And it should work fine without the stuffing plate. So we're going to give it a go with that. And if it needs a stuffing plate, if it's a little bit too moist, doesn't want to drive in there, I'm going to just tighten this a little bit more.
Okay. Now, do I have to be ready to catch these things?
Yeah, so what I was just going to mention that. What we're going to do is we're going to grab, we've got a package of our patty wax paper. So it's pre-cut pieces. They're just down there.
Yeah, there we go.
And that way when they come out, you can put it down on the wax paper. You can stack them up for freezing. It's going to work really, really slick.
There's our patty wax paper.
All right.
As
Yeah.
I awkwardly
So
hold
get a few of those
random
ready.
pieces behind.
We're going to take
Okay.
some more of the mix.
Does
Get
it? Where is it
ready
gonna?
here.
It's gonna slide out the bottom.
Yeah, well, it's going to come. It's going to go. It's 2 sides. So once
Okay.
we do one, we're going to pull through like this, and it's conical shaped around the outside edge. So it's going to assist in dropping down. We don't have to go in there and monkey around
Poke
with
around,
it.
okay.
Maybe a light tap just to get it going, and
Oh,
then you can
sure.
fill that side, and then you just go side to side to side to side.
Okay.
Right.
Let's give it a
So
shot.
we'll do that one. Work on this side to start. We'll pack everything down in
Here we
there.
go.
Leave some aside for the sausage.
If you're just tuning in, you are watching See It Work. I'm Dan. This is Derek. You're seeing some great Princess Auto products in action. And right now, we're about to make some hamburgers.
Yeah, we're going to mix this through. We'll push it through again.
Oh,
Is it not tight?
it is blowing it right off.
That's all right. Let's just make sure it's tight.
Oh yeah, there it is.
There we go. Okay. All right, ready? Here we go. Push that in.
There we go.
Yep. Get some down there.
That
And you're gonna
is
fill
cool.
Fill it right to make a nice round burger. All right, we're going to stop, and we're going to pull towards. Right, there you go.
Ah, done.
Perfectly formed patty.
Perfect.
Yep, nice mix.
I was actually very excited when that happened.
All right, so we'll fill her up again. Do another patty. It'll
Keep
come
it
out-
going. We
it'll-
only
it'll-
got 40 more to make.
It'll
This
come
is
out
good
the other
stuff.
side. It'll come out the other side there
Okay.
when we get ready.
Yeah, if you're making burgers, this
Well,
is the
they're
way
nice
to
and
go.
uniform, right? So they'll even portion. Okay, slide it through the other way. Give it a little tap there.
And we're good.
Yeah. So we'll make a couple more of these.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll quickly take a peek. We got a.
Yeah. See if there's any more questions.
Wayne wants to know, is this grinder exclusive to Princess Auto?
No, but we do have a lot of the products from the Valley Sportsman brand, and it is probably one of the best values out there buying through us.
Mm-hmm. Stu wants to know, can you buy replacement blades? I'm assuming he means those
Yep,
little
you can
guys.
buy the blades and the separator discs there with the different sizing. You can certainly buy those. We have all the way from a 10 millimeter down to the 4.5. Okay, so we'll do one more.
There we go. I wish we had the Blackstone grill fired up.
I was just
here.
thinking that a few minutes ago. This would have been ideal.
Yeah. That would have been the longest See It Work episode of all time. It's a 4-hour show. We make burgers, eat them, and just hang out. Then we ride the mini bikes later. It's a little inside trivia for those of you who've been following the show.
Very slippery.
We know there's at least 400 of you.
Okay.
Oh, this is great. After this guy, I think it's sausage time, hey?
Yeah, we're gonna switch over to the sausage stuffer. Perfect, look at that.
Boom.
Nicely done. All right.
Perfect, every time. Every time. That's what you get in our kitchen here.
Oops. Side.
All right. So Wayne wants to know, would this be able to grind organ meat to make liver pate?
Certainly.
Don't see why not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kevin asked why the patty maker wasn't staying attached on its own. I think it was just...
I am covered in grease and fat. It is very hard to get that thumb screw tight.
Yeah.
So I could say, take the gloves off, give it a tighten, and we're going to pull this back out, and we're going to throw it back on the top here. Don't want to waste anything if we can help it.
All right, don't forget, if you are watching, please be sure to add a comment, ask a question, and you could win one of these, your very own meat grinder, at the end of the episode. So next up, we're going to make a sausage.
Yeah, we're going to do sausage. The casing, if you wouldn't mind grabbing
I'll
the
grab whatever
tubes.
we need here. These guys?
That's the casing. Nope, and the tubes here.
Yeah.
These guys, yeah.
Here we go.
Yep. So we're going to use the largest tube. It's a little small for the casing that we're doing.
I'm going to move this out of the way.
It's going to give us the biggest volume. So when we go to do the sausage, we don't need a knife, but we do need the stuffing plate. And there's two different types. We've got this one that has 3 holes in it, and we've got one that has 2 holes, and they're just 2 large holes opposite each other. And that's going to help fill that casing up nice and even. So we're going to get that indexed in, just like that. We're going to put this guy in. These guys thread together. Ideally, it's been suggested to hand wash these plastic guys versus putting them in the dishwasher.
Yeah.
And it's more aesthetics. It's more to keep them from staining. It's not going to, change the way they work. So we'll do this guy here. Get this in nice and tight. All right.
All right, if you're just tuning in, you're watching See It Work. I'm Dan, this is Derek. You are seeing some of Princess Auto's awesome products live in action. You're seeing them work. Today, you are seeing a meat grinder. And we've already made hamburgers. Now we're going to make some sausage.
Now do you have that casing for the sausage?
And the casing
Okay.
is right here. You know what? I should probably, we sell all this stuff in store.
Yeah, we certainly do.
Probably show, here's a sausage making kit. This is the right one, I believe.
Yep, that's right. That's for summer sausage. We brought the summer sausage selection in. Okay. So this is to hang, right? Obviously to cure the sausage. So we're going to get this going again. Try and keep as much pressure as we can on it.
We're in that episode of Seinfeld where Kramer and Newman are just making sausages.
It'll keep you busy. You might need to help me once it starts to fill up the casing there. So I'm going to get this pushed in.
So this casing is edible? If you did eat it?
If you did, yeah. It's food safe. It's kind of the same thing you'd see in a deli counter, right? It's that kind of a salami type casing that you have on there, or a sausage type casing. Stop there. I'll try and get a little tighter pack in the back there. Yeah, once it's finely ground, this is very, very easy to slide through here. Yep. Yeah, hold that. Yeah, please support that. Yeah, for sure. Because the summer sausage would look like a salami, right? Yeah. So everybody knows it's not going to be something we're going to take and we're going to spin it around and make links. We're going to make just a large.
How hard is that to do? Have you done that?
I have. It's not hard. It's just it's a smaller casing.
Yeah.
You can use a collagen casing, and some people prefer to use a natural casing. But it's just about getting the right size tube for the casing, right? It makes it very easy.
Yeah, that seems like an art form.
Yep. Make sure it's packed a little bit, and pull it down just a bit.
And how are you? So you're just controlling the amount of meat coming in just based on pressure?
I'm just at the end of the nozzle. I'm trying to watch the casing so it doesn't get overfilled, but I don't want to have any air gaps, right? So I'm going to push it down a little bit, and I'm going to try and make it as tight as I can with my hand, and then when the pressure builds up, I'm going to slowly let that off.
Yeah.
Make sure there's more meat down there to try and keep, like I say, any air bubbles out. As we move it down, and we can fill up, work against. here. We'll do one that's...
This is a lot of meat.
It's a lot.
Like this.
Yeah,
This
but
is
then
a
you
pig.
can slice this up and you can... It's not big. You can slice it up, make sandwiches, you
Yeah.
can fry it, have breakfast. Let's go
And it's a nice activity for the family,
Absolutely.
right?
Right?
What is-
Yeah, fall time comes and,
Yeah.
right, everybody's harvesting.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to take a look at my phone while I'm holding this for you.
Okay.
Because this is a balancing act. Mike wants to know, what size burgers does the attachment make? I think those were...
I'd say probably about a 5-inch patty.
They're a third... yeah, 5-inch patty. We'll go with that. We'll get you that answer. We'll get you that answer before I guess. Can you buy an attachment to make smaller patties? I don't
That's the
believe
only
so.
one
I
size
think
that we
that's
have.
the only one
Yep.
we got. And Kevin wants to know what the attachment is for making jerky.
Jerky, we'll get to that
We'll
in a
get
few
to
minutes.
that. We won't be showing you live.
We won't
just
actually be
because
making, but we have the product behind us. We can go through that.
because if we did show you all the attachments in action, we would just have a dedicated 24-hour channel
That's right.
to food processing. Okay,
Yep, we're almost done here.
we are almost done.
Almost done.
Derek really wants to finish this sausage off.
Get
He's a
it down.
consummate professional. He wants to make sure this thing is ready to go. We will include this with the meat grinder for the winter. Just joking.
Just
we
joking.
won't.
We will not. be
We will
doing that.
not. I don't think this thing will.
I don't think Canada Post will allow that.
What's in there? I don't know.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to take that off.
Okay.
We'll tie it.
I'm sweating. And I didn't do anything.
Really?
I was just holding that.
The lights are hot.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, so we'll tie
There
that
we
off.
go.
You could put a hog ring on that. Hog ring pliers can be used for upholstery, but they can also be used, if you've ever seen on the end of a salami a little metal ring, that's
Yeah.
called a hog ring.
Yeah.
We have hog ring pliers in stock with the rings itself. You can clip both ends with them, and that just keeps everything nice and tight. We'll tie this off after. We won't get into that right now.
No, so
it
right
aside.
now, if we want to, we know we got a lot on the product line side. Let's go for a walk through the product line.
Sure,
Why don't we
absolutely.
take a look at
Yeah,
that?
we can come over here and take a look. All right, so we've got the burger press attachment, and that's what we used to make the mixed patties. There's different sizes of chutes, obviously, for different mixes that you're going to use. Very easy to clean. Everything is easy to blow apart. Plastic, like I say, soap and water, warm soap and water. If you're going to be putting them, stacking them up like you see here and saving them for after, or any kind of food that you're looking at processing and keeping, whether it's vegetable, fish, like we show on the front of the box here, we've got a couple different options in vacuum sealers. We have bags and rolls. We have pre-cut bags for certain sizes. Very, very popular. In most cases, you could use this for meal prep. If you're doing a lot of harvesting of vegetables from the fall season to get the garden cleaned out, very, very handy. If you're doing something where you're processing, say, some fish and you want to do it in individual sizes and you're going to have a pound of each, let's say, you can go to one of the digital scales that we have. Stainless steel again, so very food safe. Very easy to use. You can go into pounds, you can go into kilograms. You can do up to 660 pounds, so you could
That's
use this
big.
for, absolutely, you
Yeah.
can use this for anything really. If you're going to be using it for something else, you could wrap it with some saran and then just give it a quick clean after, and you can go right back into food
So
processing.
don't use the one from your bathroom at home. Is what
I
you're
would
saying.
suggest not.
Okay, good.
Probably not. And like when we get to our jerky attachment, or with fish or fruit or whatnot, you could also go to one of the dehydrators that we carry. Different racks for different types. If you want to have apples and do pineapple below it, or you want to make some jerky and dehydrate that. Very easy to use. I know at our house the apple chips from the crab apple trees are super popular.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we go over here to the sausage stuffer, that's manual. The same version that we had with the mixing machine, it's just going to be a hand crank. And there's different sizes of tubes for the different casings. So you've got everything from a very small, almost like a pepperoni or a pepperette, all the way up to large link sausages like a smoky. And here's the foot pedal that we have we're using today.
That's the key.
That is very important. It's super handy. The tenderizing and jerky attachment that we've got there, it speaks for itself. I mean, it's going to go mount on the end of the grinder just like we did with the meat mixer, and it's going to get everything nice and coarse, kind of a rough cut, length cut. Then you can tenderize and marinate the meat and lay it out in the dehydrator to make the jerky. Just below that, we've got the food slicer, and we've got different versions of slicers, kind of a good, better, best, if you will. If you're doing, you're buying some lunch meat or some roast and you want to slice them up yourself, you want to try and get something really nice and thin for different recipes you're using. Or if you're doing something in, wild game, you're doing a whole elk or a moose or a deer or a bunch of animals, the commercial grade one is a nice option to go to.
That's high end.
Yeah.
That is a high-end commercial food slicer.
It is.
If you have that in your house, you better be a fan of deli meat if you've got this in your house.
You love sandwiches.
You better be producing some food. All right, well, I have the winner, but I'm going to share that in just a moment. We had a lot of questions come up about how to clean it. So we're going to quickly, let's dive into kind of how we're going to how we take it apart. Yep. We won't have time to necessarily clean it, but we can explain how and show you how it kind of all comes together. Or it comes apart, I guess.
Absolutely. Yep. So we'll just move the lug back in under here because we're going to try and keep this. We can get back to using this here. So for cleaning, it's the same thing. It's just the same as putting it together, just taking it apart.
And so to clean this, you would just want to use just soapy water?
Warm soap and water. Yep. If you find that there's a film, a greasy film on the product after, you could take some baking soda and some warm water, and then again, just do mild detergent and warm water. As hot as you can comfortably put your hands in would be ideal. And then just allow everything to air dry. If there's debris in it, what we can do too is really quick, I can spin this back on. A little trick to get the meat out, you might have to do a little bit more than what we've got here, but you can run bread through the grinder, and that's going to help clean the excess meat out
sure.
of it.
We got some bread here.
We've got
we
some,
can quickly show you this trick.
We've got some ends of the bread. And again, if you had to buy just a little loaf of bread to kind of throw through here if you're doing a lot right at the very end of the process. We'll get this here. Tear up some small chunks.
Someone asked a question here. Stu asked, can we grind bones in here if you were making dog food for your dog?
If it was a softer bone, let's say you're doing chicken or something like that, if it was a softer bone and like cartilage, it would absolutely grind it up, right? Yeah. So you'd want to go obviously coarse, and then you could try and do it finer, but I would leave it as coarse as possible just to stop it from having any kind of binding issue against the plate, right? Okay. Okay. So we've got some in there. Get
so this is the trick, eh?
Yeah. Let's see what we got here.
Oh yeah, that's...
Yeah, and that'll push that out. So we're going to run out of bread before this comes through. There's a lot. There's a lot. Yeah.
Where did that come from?
If you're going to be doing something that's packing the bread in, right? So that was about 4 or 5 pieces of bread.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can see, I mean, we've got a lot of bread left in there, but there's still some meat. So that's going to take the onus off of having to get in there and scrub. There are a selection of brushes that we carry for cleaning. We've got one down here. Basically looks like a large bottle brush. That would be good for going down into the tubes, in through the channel, the auger channel. There's smaller ones that we carry as well to go in to actually clean the individual plates, the holes in the plates. It's as anything else, right? You want to be as safe as possible and try and keep everything as clean as possible.
All right, well, it's time. It's that time of the show, everyone's favorite time of the show. Let's find out who won this thing. Who won the meat grinder today? Congratulations to Anna Carr from Winnipeg.
Congratulations, Anna.
You just won this and this meat.
We're going to sign that.
Well, yeah, Derek will sign this for you. Permanent Sharpie, silver Sharpie, so you can always remember how you won this
signature model.
Yeah, the signature model. Well, that's crazy. That's a crazy idea, but I like it. That'll do it for us today on See It Work. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Dan. This is Derek. And be sure to head down to Princess Auto. Take a look. Food processing is something you want to get into. Our team members can help you out. And we'll see you next month for our next exciting product on See It Work.